Today we're here with USMNT defender Auston Trusty, and he's going to tell us a little bit about professional footballers' biggest misconceptions. The first misconception is you can't go out and do things like go to the store without being swarmed by fans. What period in your life, in your career, did you feel like, oh wow, fans are really starting to come up to me or, start to recognize who I am in the city?
I think when I got overseas, say, like Birmingham when I was in Sheffield, or even with Arsenal, and especially now playing in Glasgow, it's a whole different beast. But it's never to the point where people are swarming you. You can't really enjoy yourself. But people definitely notice who you are, and maybe sometimes they don't say something, but you can kind of tell people are looking at you.
What do you do when that happens? Because it's if people are looking at do you just go mega awkward? Is it what's the vibe?
No, I like it. I come from humble beginnings, so
Yeah.
the story I was telling before with Raheem and all the sorts throughout my career, I love it and I appreciate it. And I think about how I was when I was a little kid, looking at Ray Gaddis playing for the Philadelphia Union or whoever was playing. I would have been so shy and not know how to go about things. No, I appreciate it, but I'm just myself. I think a lot of times I try to have a conversation with them, and I don't want to ever come off in any kind of negative type of way. I want people to feel inspired or feel like I'm a normal dude who just happens to play a beautiful game.
You're on social media a lot, bro, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll see videos of people now wearing the Meta glasses, and they'll go up to players. For example, I saw a guy go up to, who was it the other day? A guy went up to Lenny Euro, and he asked him while he was outside the car, what do you do for a living? What do you do when someone is pulling up on you and instantaneously is trying to do some social media with you? Do you feel weird about situations like that? Or would you respond to the content?
Nah, I'd respond to the content. I would just I probably wouldn't say what I do. I would be funny or try to do something weird and see what they say.
That's vibes, bro. I love that, bro.
What would you make up? What's your made up profession?
So, a lot of people don't really care, but a couple times I've had to say I said, I'm in software, or I do online work, and just kind of leave it like that. Because when I say online work, they just kind of don't really say much.
They're I don't know what to do with that information.
I'm an entrepreneur.
I like that, man. Second football misconception: players don't get starstruck by other players. Have you ever been starstruck by a teammate, coach, or opponent?
Not really. I think the thought of it when I was younger, yes. But I've been fortunate enough to play against some of my idols and people I really respect in the game. But during the game, my mindset is I want to absolutely lock these guys down, or I want to beat them. So I'm not really starstruck during the moment, or maybe after. I'm like, oh snap! I actually just locked this guy down.
Yeah.
I think more after the fact playing these guys. So I'd say playing Mo Salah, playing anybody, Thiago Silva, obviously my Arsenal boys playing with these guys. It's just I can go out the list.
Tell me what it's like. And look, I've got a certain bias when it comes to this player. Let's put it that way. What is it like playing against Mo Salah?
I mean, those type of guys, people always ask, well, what's the difference between the levels? And the biggest difference is those guys, if they turn it on, they're going to turn it on, and they're not going to miss. They're so skilled. And at this, we get to a certain level, everyone's so skilled and so dialed in. You can't give any opportunities. So playing against a guy like him in his caliber, he's not going to miss if he gets the opportunity.
Yeah.
And while other guys who play in the lower leagues, maybe they get a chance, maybe they sky, maybe they hit to the side, or maybe they mess the pass up. A lot of the times, majority of times, he's going to pull it off. Again, he's one of those guys you're not, when I was playing against him, I'm not talking crap. I'm not saying nothing. Because you don't get those type of guys in the caliber. You don't give any type of reason for them to turn it on or want to play against you. And same with me. When people actually start talking to me, I switch on even more. I'm already locked in, but you don't give anybody a reason to do it.
Be honest. Do you talk crap? Do you talk normally? If it's just you?
No. People try to talk to me. I'm just locked in. Some people always try to talk crap. Just this is part of the game. I'm usually the one that just never talks back. I just do my thing.
We got this third misconception. Growing up, you were a fan of the clubs you've played for.
Yeah, I mean, for the Philadelphia Union, the thought of playing overseas now, it was the dream that was in the Milky Way. It was so far away from happening in your reality. You didn't even really consider it. So the closest thing to me, and again, playing for the Philadelphia Union when I first turned 17, it was the biggest thing ever. It meant so much, especially from where I came from the story before with Raheem.
But also on a level of just American soccer development, because a lot of these MLS clubs weren't invested in young academy talent.
So it's a big deal when you make it back in the day.
So back in the day,
I didn't
Austin
have
was
anybody.
D1.
Yeah.
So kids are looking up to, you know, your Kevin Sullivans, your guy, your Matthias Albert, looking up their clips on TikTok. We didn't have that back then. You know what I'm saying? There was no one to look up to. Zach Pfeffer, our first homegrown that was the most successful, retired at 23 to become a banker.
Did he?
So it's like guys were retiring early from MLS to get regular jobs because it wasn't safe. You weren't making as much money. So when you saw guys like Austin or Mark McKenzie and Brendan Aronson start to come through the pipeline, and Philadelphia Union realizes like, hey, we could make some money, you know, developing these kids, selling them overseas to Europe, is when you saw that big shift. But when we were there was no one to look up to. So that was your thing, mate. When you made it, you're like, oh, shoot, like this is big.
There was no pathway. There was no person for me to really look up to try to, like, when Philadelphia offered, okay, do you want to sign pro? Do you want to go to college? There was no one for me to ask how to go about things or how to get an agent, I had to learn everything in a sense by myself. So when I decided to not go to UNC on a full ride, I remember lots of people around me pretty much being like, how dumb are you to do that? Like, why would you turn down a full ride to the University of North Carolina? Which, granted, UNC is a great school, but me deciding to go after my dream and go pro and really go for it and achieve what I thought I could achieve, it was, to a lot of people, it really was the dumbest thing I could possibly do. I'm glad I didn't listen to them.
So, like, you're a Philly, like, fan, presumably, right? Like, when you make it and all of that. Do you try and inherit that fandom of clubs? Do you know what I mean? So you go to Arsenal, you go to Sheffield, you go wherever, like Birmingham, Celtic, like, do you then become like a fan? Because you hear all those stories, right? Like, Jamie Carragher's an Everton fan. He plays for Liverpool. He's now a Liverpool fan, for example. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think if I watch all the Colorado games, I still really close with all the guys in Colorado, all the coaches, and the guys who are still there on the team that I was there. Honestly, I've become a fan of all my teammates who I've really gotten close to. So like Miles Bukakar plays for Dallas. Like, I'll watch his games when I can. It's not like 4 a.m. here, but I've become a fan of the teams that when I play for, but also like my buddies, you want to support them, and that's what it's all about.
Fourth biggest misconception: American players are more famous in America than in Europe. This is a big one because I feel like a lot of the American soccer players on the USMNT, they think they're a lot bigger than they are in America because how big they are in Europe.
I think we're probably bigger in Europe.
Yeah?
It's just how the culture is, really. I mean, in the States, you have American football, you have basketball, you have baseball, you have hockey. Sometimes when the news, I was watching the news last night, like a clip of someone, because I got a family friend who does news, and they didn't include the Union. They did all the other teams in Philadelphia except for the Union. I'm like, what is this? What is this? This is a whole entire sports recap, and they left out the Union. So like, even just that thing that obviously pisses me off, but that's just the culture in the States is still not widely adapted as it should be, and it's growing, and it is growing with Messi being there and the World Cup coming, and it will get there. I believe that. But it's here in overseas. That's why we all come over here to play overseas, because this is the culture. This is where it's at. This is where the big dogs are at, in a sense.
Yeah. All right. Last biggest misconception about footballers is that teammates hang out with each other outside of football.
That's probably the biggest misconception. Not biggest. Not biggest. It's, if you're going out, then you usually go out with your teammates. Or if you're like, if you're really close with a teammate, then maybe your misses will get together and you kind of link up. But a lot of times you don't really, because you're with each other 99% of the time. So the moment you get to, like, for yourself or be with your family, there's no real like reason to, you kind of just enjoy your time because you're with them for 99% of the time.
Yeah. I think people don't understand is like, yo, just because these guys are like teammates and you're seeing them geeking on social media together all the time, like that automatically assumes that they're gonna be best buds. But like, bro, like at the end of the day, like football is a business. You switch clubs a lot. You're going to different teams. Players coming in and out. Sometimes you don't even really get to know your teammates that well because they're gone after a couple months. Like, have you ever had a situation where you had a friend on the team and they got transferred out like as soon as you felt like you were getting to know them?
I mean, and it takes a while too. So like sometimes it takes, like different situations. Maybe the team, maybe you start hanging out in the hotel or you see each other at breakfast and you have a conversation. You need any kind of relationship and friendship. You need multiple occasions outside of, if you're training, you train, you do your thing. Everyone's so focused and some people have different personalities when they train. So you're not really like your true authentic self. So a lot of times no one really gets to see the other side of you. So you kind of need multiple outside of soccer, outside of football occasions to really get to know somebody. So yeah, it's something happen all the time.
That's me when I play pickup. I'm just like a complete menace. Don't talk to anyone.
And you pack up your stuff and then you bounce. They probably just think the one thing about you. You're like, well, this is not actually me.